dance for joy or lust or anger, and every time you haven't got it right, you want.
Welcome to Sensible Secondhand Reviews, a show where we look at practical and sensible cars which you can buy for a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000. This is a 2014 Suzuki SX4 S-Cross 1.6 SZ5. But is it any good? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? So the SX4 S-Cross was introduced in 2013. There had been another S-Cross before that, which was a bit of a smaller car, also sold as a Fiat Suzuki, although by the time this generation of SX4 S-Cross came out, the time with the Fiat had kind of actually just resulted in some shared engines. The base engine in one of these was a 1.6 with 118 horsepower, like in this car. And for the first few years the car was on sale, this was the only petrol engine available. It's Suzuki's own engine. It's also used in the Vitara and various other models, like the previous generation SX4. It's called the M16A engine, and it's pretty reliable actually. It was replaced in 2016 with a pair of engines. One is a 3-cylinder, one's a 4-cylinder. The 3-cylinder is a 1 litre developing 109 horsepower, and the 4-cylinder is a 1.4 developing 138 horsepower. Again, those engines were shared with the Vitara. In 2020, the engines were replaced, all of the engines were replaced, and the car actually had just one powertrain option. It was a 1.4 mild hybrid engine with 128 horsepower. There are also some diesels available, but as usual, due to controversial government legislation and all kinds of other reasons, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. So what's this SX4 S-Cross actually like to drive? Well, it's interesting to compare this with the current generation Vitara, and I have driven two of those. I would say this is a bit softer and it leans a bit more in the bends. The Vitara is a bit more of a driver's car than this, but you know, depends really what you're after. If you're after a really kind of sort of soft and compliant ride, which this has, and just a bit more space, then this is probably the best one to have. Steering feels okay. It feels good. The thing about one of these cars though is that there's not really the last word in ride and handling, and I think it's interesting that when these cars were new, Suzuki priced this and the Vitara very, very close together. And actually, I think maybe the base model has undercut the Vitara. Strange. So they've got two cars in essentially slightly different market segments, but based on the same ingredients. So this is a relatively early example of the SX4 S-Cross. This generation was made until 2021 when it was replaced with the current generation, which is still on this platform, but it does feel quite different. I have driven one of those actually. I drove it in 2022. But this is the original way they look. This is quite a high spec model. It's the SZ5. It was the top of the range at the time. This particular car has got a few sort of scuffs and things on the bodywork down here, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, I think this looks okay. The Vitara, which this is actually based on as well, they're on the same platform, probably looks better. It's a little bit less spacious than this and more sort of radical looking. This looks very conservative, particularly this pre-facelift one. The later ones do have this kind of more prominent grille. I don't know if I like that as much as this original pre-facelift one, but you know, there we go. Let's have a look in the boot. Bigger boot than the Vitara. It's about 430 litres from memory. Yep, we've got keyless entry in this one, that's why we've got the little funny pimple thing there. Versing camera and parking sensors on this top trim. And actually there's an adjustable height boot floor, which is really handy, because if I take this off, you can actually see that there's quite a big sort of step down here. Got some mats in there as well. We lift this up. Hopefully there's a... No, there's not a space saver spare. There's a tyre inflation kit. Oh well, let's put all that back. For about 430 litres, if you take that boot floor out, or put it in its lowest position, I should say. 12-volt socket, that's handy. Boot light. Got a hook in there, which is good for putting things on. Yeah, it's pretty practical for a family. Also, this parcel shelf kind of goes up and down like this. It sort of bends in the middle, which is interesting. I'll just put that back. I don't know why it's not attached properly. Yeah, it's interesting with the sort of little fog light down there and little reflectors. Let's take a seat in the back. It should be quite spacious in here, actually, from memory. I have driven one of these cars before, many years ago. Yeah, it's pretty good. Ah, it's really excellent. The biggest problem, though, and it's the same with the Vitara, actually. I drove a Vitara mild hybrid in 2021. It was also red for some reason. Is the headroom. I mean, this panoramic roof is absolutely amazing. I love it, but I've got no headroom. I've got none at all. My head's right up against the roof. I mean, I have to slouch a bit, which is a shame. That's really bad. I mean, we've got full leather or Artica leather, I'm not quite sure what it is, material, with, for some reason, missing a mat pocket on the back of the driver's seat, which is quite neat. There is one here with this sort of nice white stitching, and we've got a nice centre armrest. It's sort of given in a car like this, really. But yeah, the headroom is not good. Maybe you just want to go for a standard one of these that doesn't have this panoramic roof. It's the same thing I said when I tested the Vitara in 2021. Yeah, we've got some bottle holders. Just check the door tops. I think that the later ones of these do have a slightly different interior that's maybe a bit sort of better quality than this one. It's all right. The pre-facelift current generation of Vitara, the interior is actually even worse. It's a lot shinier than this, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with the actual kind of how to put this. There's nothing wrong with the actual kind of construction of it. It's going to last the distance. There's nothing like that. It's literally, it just feels a bit hard and a bit cheap. It's well made and everything. Right, let's get in the front. Nice comfy seat with lots of adjustment. There we go. Powerful mirrors as well. Excellent. Automatic driver's window. Not the biggest door bins in a car like this, but never mind. Had multi-stage heated seats, dual zone climate control. I think we've got sat nav as well, but I will just verify by turning the car on, which I can do with one hand just by pushing this. Let's turn that off. Oh gosh, it's loud. Right, we seem to be missing the sat-nav card in here for some reason. I'm not driving, so we should be okay. Capital Dance, yes, that'll be it, won't it? Right, now, just got to remember, this is an aftermarket system in this, or something like that. I've got to remember how we actually go back to the main menu. I think we press that. No, it's that one. There we go. Have a look at the map. Yeah, Windmill Hill, which is kind of near Colchester. That's where we are, viewers. So, yeah, phone setting. That's it. There's not an awful lot to say. I think media is just whether you connect it up. Yeah, we haven't got an SD card in there. That's it. We have got an aux in here. Have we got a USB port in this car at all? Is there any USB port? There's a 12-volt socket down there. I don't think on this. We must have a USB port somewhere. I'm going to have to look for it, aren't I? Oh, yes, there it is. Fantastic. That's better. Okay, so you've got armrest, nice comfy seats, 5-speed manual. You could get an automatic one as well. You could also get proper 4-wheel drive on, I think, every single engine that's ever been available. You can get 4-wheel drive, which is great. Automatic lights, automatic wipers, cruise control, controls here for the Bluetooth phone connectivity, steering wheel controls here as well for the audio, and yeah, the instruments are nice and clear. Again, we can, I think, just push this and it should bring up the sort of menu or something. Yeah, we're on the accessory position, so what do I want? Braking clutch, like a SsangYong Tivoli for some reason. That is, it's unusual, but I need to. That's it. Right, that's better. Right, we've for some reason got sort of blue rings around the dials, which is nice, I suppose. They're clear enough. Can we cycle through anything and just sort of take a look at what's going on, or is it all just a bit boring? You have to press this one. Yes, you could have pressed this here. That's awkward. That's not good. But a lot of the Suzuki's like that for some reason. 44.3 miles per gallon. That's quite good actually for a 1.6 petrol in a car like this. They're actually reasonably light cars, these, and they're not as heavy as you'd think. And there's the dual zone climate control. We'll just turn that fan down a little bit more. Don't need the air conditioning on. Yeah, I mean, again, this dash is, it's not the highest quality, but again, this car's getting on for 10 years old, and it feels fine. It has only done 36,000 miles though, so that might be something to do with it. But yeah, the only thing is the gear lever is a little bit wobbly. I'm not quite sure why that is. See if we can get the secret mission documents in, viewers, because that's what we like to do. Yes! Fantastic. I'm very happy with this, viewers. I was happy with the two Vitaras I've driven as well. I've driven a 2016 Vitara with this engine as well, and then a later mild hybrid 1.4. All of them are manual, I think. Yeah. I think that's sort of most of it in here. Let's take a look at the engine. So here we are, the chain-driven 1.6 Suzuki M16A engine, which develops about 118 horsepower. It's chain-driven. They're very, very dependable engines on the whole, these, if you look after them. I don't know whether the 1 litre 1.4 engines that came later are less dependable than this, but this was just well known from back in the day for being a really, really good engine. Looks like there's plenty of room to work on it. This is the largest size of engine you could get on an SX4 S-Cross, and yeah, you can see the gearbox quite easily and all sorts of things. It's probably because we're raised up a bit. As I said, same platform as the current generation Vitara and the current generation of this as well. Got front parking sensors as well, I've forgotten about that. I mean, you also have a reversing camera on this. I'll get a little bit of footage of the reversing camera, I think, and put that in at some point. Other than that, there's not a lot to say. Even with these early ones, you have daytime LED running lights, which is nice. Okay, maybe it's time to go for another drive, viewers. Order 60 in this car is nothing remarkable. I think it's about 11 seconds, and it feels fine. The engine is not actually as noisy as I thought it would be, considering it's a relatively old-fashioned engine. There's no kind of turbo or anything on this. I prefer the 6-speed manual that you can get on some of the other Vitaras and SX4s. It's funny, I drove one of these cars with the 1 litre booster jet engine in 2017 when I was considering buying one, and actually my opinion on how these drive hasn't changed. It's quite good. It's just, you know, now I'm a bit more experienced with the number of cars I've driven. I've driven probably 600-700 cars since then. I'm just a bit more kind of aware of how things kind of feel, and this is good. I would rather have this than something like a Vauxhall Mocha or a Peugeot 2008 or something like that. I like the MG ZS from SsangYong Tivoli. I love the Tivoli so much, actually I bought one. But this is good. I'm sure as well they have a very, very good reputation for reliability, Suzuki. They're not faultless or anything like that, but I imagine this would be just quite a good car to keep going on for a long time. Although I would prefer one with the normal roof and not this panoramic one, because the headroom is not good. So viewers, the Suzuki SX4 S-Cross. It's worth pointing out that adaptive cruise control came on a lot of these from 2016, and automatic emergency braking was standard from 2020 when the mild hybrid engine was introduced. So it's just a car that you should consider for your hard-earned budget of between £1,000 and £5,000. Many of these cars will be worth more than that. Even this early one is worth a bit more than £5,000 due to the high specification and low mileage. But in general, yeah, I think these are pretty good cars. It's really up to you whether you want to trade off between the kind of maybe more exciting looks of a Vitara but smaller boot space and cabin space versus this car that's got more space and yet probably is a bit more conservatively styled. But either are very, very good options, particularly if you go for one with this early 1.6 petrol engine that's not very exciting, but it is very dependable. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again very soon for more reasonably priced motoring.